Good morning, children. Good afternoon and good evening. Yes, once again, I'm back with English literature because it has been quite a while that we have done English literature. We have been always doing English grammar. We have been revising in between for our periodic assessment 1. So I thought that why not let's begin with English literature once again, because we are otherwise going to fall behind in our syllabus, okay, for the terminal 1. That is of course going to be held later on. We will get to know when it is going to be held. For the moment it will be periodic assessment 1, but still the syllabus has to progress. Alright, so let me start off with today's class. Alright. The name of the chapter is The Plaint of the Camel. That means the whining, the grumble, the complain, okay, the charges of the camel against certain things which he is disliking. Alright, and this is from my best book number 2. Alright, my best book number 2. We have completed 3 lessons of literature. This is the 4th lesson and it's a poem. Now also one more thing, children, today's exercise will be here itself, the answers, the solution. You need not email me the answers. You will get a lot of time to do this. By the 22nd of July you will have to complete it, because after this class gets over, tomorrow we are going to do only revisions during the live class, tomorrow as well as Saturday. Alright, tomorrow as well as Saturday itself. We are going to do a lot of revisions. So today is the last audiovisual class before the examinations. Examinations, as I said, is going to be MCQ based. No subjective, only objective. Okay, options will be given. Out of the 4 options, you have to choose the correct one. Now, this is my best book number 2. Number 2. Alright. Now, about the author, okay, I wanted to tell you about the author, in the sense the poet, okay. He is Charles Edward Carryl. He was an author as well as a poet for children. About the author, Charles Edward Carryl, 1841 to 1890, was an American poet and author of children's books. It is said that he wrote primarily for children and adopted a rollicking, easy to read, poetic style that would bring joy to the young readers. So he used to write basically for children and in a funny and comical and easygoing way so that everybody could read. He raised his children through storytelling. So he himself had his own children to whom he used to tell stories. The nonsense fantasy world was developed by his children for his children's amusement, but Carryl began in 1884 to amuse other children as well by publishing the stories in a journal, St. Nicholas. So he had begun actually by writing stories for his children, but then in the year 1884 he started writing. He thought that why not write for all the children, not only my children but as well as the children who are not mine too. That means the children of the world, the young readers. Okay, and he started publishing his stories in a journal called St. Nicholas. Those stories were serialized and then published as Davy and the Goblin. So that was the name of the story. And they were serialized, means episodes were made to show it on television. Carryl's second novel, The Admiral's Caravan, was put before the public much as Davy was. It first ran as a serial in St. Nicholas and was then published in book form in 1892. So it first ran as a serial. It was shown in the form of an episode, and then later on it had turned itself into a book. A book was turned out of all the stories published there. The stories in it were not composed in the same way as composed means framed and made and compiled as Davy and Goblin. However, by the time Carryl wrote this second book, his stories were no longer spun for his children's pleasure, but rather because it pleased Carryl. So what happened? He not only started writing for the children, but then he also started taking a pleasure in writing them. He started liking what he was doing. So he also wrote stories for himself. Now this is the chapter. The Plaint of the Camel. Plaint means, crying out, whining, charging. Okay, why have you done it? Oh, I wish it was not done. That is called whining. Okay. Now, have you ever been to a desert? So I'm sure you know what's a desert, isn't it? You must have seen it in the movies, or you might have visited a desert, whether in India or whether abroad, okay? And I'm sure you must have found it something, like spectacular, interesting, all covered with sand, golden sand. Yes, so camels are called the what of desert? Okay, the ship of the desert is a camel. Alright. Canary birds feed on sugar and seed. Parrots have crackers to crunch. And as for the poodles, they tell me noodles, the noodles. Have chickens and cream for their lunch. But there's never a question about my digestion. Anything does for me. So the camel is basically whimpering. It's saying, see, they have their own way of eating. This is called a palate. Okay, a platter. Okay, what is it? A food. So they said that he feels that everybody has their own choice. Everybody has, their own choice. But for me, they don't even bother what I'm eating, whether I'm able to digest or not. It is just given to me. Eat it. And I have to eat it, which is gra. Now, cats, you are aware, can repose in a chair. Chickens can roost upon rails. Puppies are able to sleep in a stable. And horses also sleep in a stable. And oysters can slumber in pails. Okay? So he's saying, but no one supposes a poor camel dozes, Any place does for me. So he says, any food does for me, any place does for me. That means a cat can relax in a chair. A chicken can perch itself up on a higher surface and rest. Okay, puppies can sleep in the stable, same as horses. Oysters can also sleep in the pails. But no one ever understands or feels that, this poor camel, he is dozing. Dozing means dozing. This is called dozing. Alright? Any place does for me. So, जाओ जहाँ पे खड़ा है वहाँ पे सोने दो. इसके लिए कोई जगह नहीं बनाना है. No need for any place. How sad. Now, lambs are enclosed where it's never exposed. Coops are constructed for hens. Kittens are treated to houses well heated, and pigs are protected by pens. But a camel comes handy wherever it's sandy. Anywhere does for me. So anywhere. So he's talking about now the place, his home. See, the lambs are basically confined in a covered area where they are not exposed to any harm. Coops, the home of a hen, are built for them. Okay, kittens are treated, that means live in well-heated houses. Pigs live in pens. Camels, poor camels, they have to just live in the sand. There's no home for them. Okay, no cover for them. How sad. Now, plaint means complaint. Okay, it's also known as banter. Reposes, relax. Roost is a perch on which domestic fowl rests or sleeps. Slumber means sleep. Enclosed is confined. Exposed is open. Constructed, made by crumbling materials and parts. Now let's go to the next. People would laugh if you rode a giraffe or mounted the back of an ox. It's nobody's habit to ride on a rabbit or try to bestraddle a fox. But as for a camel, he is ridden by families. Any load does for me. Have you seen these last lines? Anything does for me. Any place does for me. anywhere does for me, and any load. So he's talking about, people whenever they climb. Have you? Excuse me. What a bad cough. Have you ever seen a giraffe being ridden by people? No, mounted means to ride. Have you ever seen anybody riding a rabbit? No. Similarly, what is bestraddle? Putting the leg on either side and sitting. Never doing it to a fox. But look at the camel. He might have 10 people, he might have 8 people, he might have 6 people on him. A snake is round as a hole in the ground, and weasels are wavy and sleek, and no alligator could ever be straighter than lizards that live in a creek. But a camel's all lumpy and humpy and bumpy. Any shape does for me. I've ridden camel twice, once in Rajasthan and once in Faridabad, Delhi. There was an amusement park, before. It's called Bhatkal Lake. It's a beautiful place. There was, I wouldn't say it is still there, but then camel rides, I think, are no longer allowed. But then I had ridden a camel once there and in Jaipur too. And I tell you, children, I found it to be so risky because of the hump. You cannot sit properly. I felt that, like it's so risky. Summary. Let us read. Okay, before that, mounted means climb. Bestraddle, to sit with one's leg on either side of something. Sleek is smooth and soft. Now, summary. The poem has been written on the life of camels. In the poem, a camel is seen whining in a comical manner about the life he leads in comparison to those of other animals. The words come right from the grumbling camel's mouth. He feels that the other animals lead a better life. The poet brings out a simple comparison about the poor camel's practical palate. Habitat means livelihood, palate is food, utility means use, and physic means physical changes, the body, with that of other creatures. The camel whines that where canaries, parrots, and poodles have all sorts of tasty bits to eat, anything will do for the camel. Poodles may lunch on chicken and cream, but camels get only grass. As for resting places, cats can repose on a chair, that means relax. Chickens can roost upon rails. Horses and puppies are able to sleep in a stable, and oysters are able to sleep in a pail. Pigs live in pens, but camels get sand, for no one cares about them. How sad. The unhappy camel justifies. Justifies means giving a reason, a valid reason. Justifies his laments, cry of sadness. In every stanza of the poem. What is a stanza? This is a stanza. Okay, these are called stanzas. These are not paragraphs, okay, mind you. Of the poem. He complains about weasels being sleek and all other animals having specific shapes, but camels are all lumpy, humpy, and bumpy. No one rides a rabbit, giraffe, or ox, but everyone loads the camel's back. The poet conveys the message that for some, the grass seems greener on the other side. So he's trying to say that at times we always take a pity on ourselves. Oh, I wish I was like him, I was like her, I had the same benefits like him, I had the same benefits like you. But then that's always like the other side of the grass is always greener. We don't know what you're going through, neither do you know what I am going through. Okay. Now we are going to do only the exercises which are given at the book, given at the end of the chapter in the book. And you will write it in your textbook using a pencil, children. If you don't have the book, please save this. You will not write it in your rough notebook, neither in any of the English literature or language notebook. Please note that. Please take it into consideration. Now, fill in the blanks with correct words from the box. Canary birds feed on sugar and seed. Cats dash on a chair. Repose. Number 3. Oysters slumber means sleep in pails. Number 4. Coops are constructed for hens. Number 5. Kittens are kept in well-heated houses. People do not ride on the back of an ox, or a rabbit is missing here, children. Rabbit is not there. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words, whereas there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fill in the blank. So, there's a mistake in my book. Okay, I'm sure it is there in your book as well. So, or a rabbit has to be there. I repeat, rabbit. But they mount, that means climb on the back of a camel. And here are my answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. Alright, now moving on to the next. Match the animals with their surroundings. Lambs, of course. Enclosed area. Oysters, peels. Lizard in a creek. Lizards in a creek. Snake in the ground. Pigs, pens. Camels, sandy deserts. How sad. So you will not draw lines and match. Lambs, the answer is, supposing, I'll do for example the first one. Okay. Excuse me. Lambs, enclosed area. So you will either write A here or you can write D here. Either or. Alright? No drawing lines and matching. Please do not do that. My answers. Okay? Now, fill in the blanks with rhyming words of the underlined words from the poem. The lettuce added a crunch to my sandwich at lunch. The poodles love to eat noodles. She frowned on seeing her ring roll on the ground. She was grumpy because the mashed potatoes were still lumpy. The horse was able to get sleep in its stable. The cat's tail peeped out of the pail. Okay, here are my answers. Now next. Add the prefixes to these words. You know, prefix and suffix, words which are added in front of the primary word form a new word, and words which are added behind the primary word to form a new word. So prefix means before, pre, and suffixes after. So here only prefix. Incomplete, disapprove, impossible, disappear, inbuilt, unknown, improper. Incorrect, recollect, let me recollect, let me think over. Uncommon, something which is different. Inbuilt means something which is built. Inbuilt processor, okay? This is what. Incomplete, not complete. Disapprove means not agree, not like, basically dislike. Impossible, not able to do. Disappear means to vanish. Unknown means not known, okay? Improper means not correct. Incorrect is of course wrong. Recollect means to think over and remember. Okay? Uncommon is something different. So my answers. Alright? Now we come to the end for today. So language, okay, is left. Understanding the language is left. And question answers, meanings, make sentences, reference to context. Think and answer. Everything will be done in the next class. Alright? Now today what we are going to, I wanted to tell you also another thing. Peer revisions will be done tomorrow and on Saturday. Question answers will be provided in the next class. The homework of this lesson need not be emailed. Kindly refer to the solutions provided for writing your answer. Neat handwriting will be appreciated. Yes, very neat work is to be appreciated, and use a pencil to write in the textbook. The homework of this chapter must be completed by 22nd of July. Wednesday only in the textbook, and use a pencil to write. So ta-ta, high five for completing it successfully. Bye, take care, have a good time at home with your parents, cousin, brothers, sisters, grandparents, uncle, aunt, and stay locked. Very terrible condition outside, so stay locked. drink warm water. If you're having a cough like I'm having, warm water, because I have had a very bad cough for the last 2-3 days. Not well. I'm not keeping well as well. No, I'm not having fever, but then I'm not well. So y'all also take care, because it's of the season, of the season. It's like monsoons have come, isn't it? It's monsoon time now. The monsoon season is in. So there'll be chances of catching cold because seasonal changes. Alright, so ta-ta, bye. See you tomorrow.